The meeting of the Board of Ellis County Commissioners will now come to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bobby, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Dean Hazelhorst.
Present.
Chair Butch Schleier.
Present.
Commissioner Neil Younger.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay, there's no changes to the order of business tonight, and I do believe we'll have one executive session. Prior minutes, commissioners, you get a chance to review prior minutes. Any
Everything's good.
changes? Okay, minutes stand as submitted. Consent agenda. Do we hear a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through G.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Issues from persons not on the order of business. Yep, come on up. Who? Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Deb Tucker from the American Red Cross. I was asked to come in and give an update. I don't know if it's strictly on the response that you were wanting information on or that in more general.
Just whatever you have for it.
Okay. Well, obviously, you are one of 8 counties that were affected by the not only wildfires but the windstorm. And so I cover 78 counties here in Kansas as the only disaster staff person right now. Along with that, we have 25 volunteers throughout that area that have been helping since really virtually on Wednesday night because of the winds, but then by Thursday morning. So as far as your immediate area, we were notified by the fire department through Pete, because I know many of you know Captain Pete Peterson, the only volunteer that we have here in Ellis County, who was in Lenexa, Kansas, just finishing training response vehicle drivers, and received the call around 5:30-ish, I believe, on Wednesday night, asking for canteen service. And we wouldn't put anybody out on the highways at that time. However, we were able to make contact with one of our partners through the Dillon's Kroger family, and they were able to reach out to this Dillon's. And I believe probably Darren and some of his staff were able to secure the donation of food for the firefighters. So that was our initial response. Even though we weren't here, we helped facilitate that. And then I know by the 17th, we opened 4 cases. I have those names if you're interested on families that we helped. But in the meantime, we finished up a list today with an additional, I believe, 7 from the 10 that you had sent through from the Emergency Management Office. We're locating telephone numbers for some of those since we realize none of them are in their original homes at this time. What we do as far as making the initial call to those families who've lost homes or had major damage is our volunteers call and do what we call intake. They assess the family's needs. We've already gotten the report from emergency management or the fire department on the loss of homes. And so then they are given an opportunity to either do electronic funds transfer now, or we deliver what we call a client assistance card, which is like a debit card. And so, like I said, 4 of those have already been done, and we're working on the additional 7. I think if somewhere around 11 or 12 is what we'll probably end up for unless we get more things that are coming in. It doesn't stop there. That's the initial intake. And so after that, we have volunteer caseworkers that reach out in 48 hours after the initial intake, pretty much, to decide if there's another opportunity to give more funds, if they've met a roadblock. Remember, we are the first initial opportunity to give funds to people. We're not the long-term folks. That's our other partners. But we will be there. We'll have these cases open probably well into the first of the year, because not only do they can offer supplemental for different things, but we also have health service, mental health service, even spiritual care volunteers. Whatever the need is, if we can't provide it, we probably have some good resources to get the families. The other thing I wanted to bring up is that usually in these cases where I have multiple counties, we try to have what we call a MARC, which is a multi-agency resource center that we set up so it can be a one-stop shop for anyone who's been affected by the disaster. Because of the timing, with it being the holiday week, we know many agencies won't be able to pull that off this week. But I've talked with Russell County, and I'm sure we would be happy to entertain that if you felt like the people affected would be interested in doing that. Some people thought it might even be better if it was more like right after the 1st. But again, that's really conversations. We will have provided the majority of our assistance by then, but I usually help facilitate bringing in all the other agencies if they haven't already made that happen. We did this in Clark County when they were devastated by fires a few years ago, and it worked well for them to all come. I know a lot of these people are ranchers and farmers, so they like to start it off early if they're going to come. And so, again, we could make it happen. I just need to know from the county if that's something that they're interested in us helping facilitate. I'm glad to take questions from anybody.
Commissioners, have questions?
I mean, I seen you guys out and around, so I mean, that's great. You're in the area and providing the service you do. I mean, it was pretty neat to see a lot of that in the works, especially on it was that Thursday. I think it was Thursday up in like the Paradise area. Just I mean, every time the firefighters come in to load water, sandwiches, water, Gatorade was just flowing to them every time. It was
Well, and
very nice to see
I do
that.
realize a lot of community partners and a lot of just the community were involved in that. We were a small part in the big picture, but we didn't. Someone asked me why we didn't set up that here, and quite honestly, at that time we knew we had 4 families, and it wouldn't require that. It built more after that, so again, we're going to still be reaching those families, but it won't be like coming into Paradise. We had 8 counties involved, The largest population, obviously, was from the fires, so you and Russell County, for the most part, are the biggest hit. We'll end up with probably 48 cases total. Right around there is what we're speculating in the budget we turned in to national to help cover the expenses. It will remain a level 2, which means somewhere around 50,000 plus is what we'll be spending. Just that I know right off the top of my head right now, so.
Thanks for all you do.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
we do thank you.
Thank you, and I will pass that on to all my volunteers that are working hard. Thank
Deb, I
you.
do appreciate you coming on such a short notice.
You're very welcome.
It was-
I'm glad to do it. The other thing, and I would be amiss if I didn't say this, Pete is our only volunteer now in Ellis County. And so www.redcross.org/volunteer. We would love to entertain having some more folks join us, so. Did you get that for those minutes? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Sarah Wassinger. I'm the Chamber President and CEO, and just wanted to give you a brief update of the Child Care Task Force of Ellis County that we've been working on since September. We've had 3 meetings at this point in time and have put together a survey to help us assess the true needs of child care for the county. We will be having that survey open through December 31st of this year, and that survey is accessible through our Facebook page as well as our website, and it really takes only maybe about 5 minutes of time to answer. We would encourage all Ellis County residents, regardless of if they have young children or not, to participate in that, because it helps us have a more clear picture as to if you're a grandparent perhaps helping take care of children, if you're an employer who has people who are working for you who can't come to work because they have children who need child care and don't have it currently. Again, that window is open through the 31st of this month, so we will be having another meeting probably early February to look at those results. Our intent is to share the results of the survey with the community at large. That way we can start hopefully applying for some grants to start addressing some needs and opening up future daycare facilities or homes, but also supplementing and helping out the people who are currently offering childcare. I would stand for any questions for that, and then I also wanted to just wear an Ellis County citizen hat for a second after that.
Okay. Is there a need for child care services right now?
Butch, that's a great question. Yes, there are. We had a survey through Child Care Aware of Kansas that was completed this year, and it showed that Ellis County is down 16 child care providers since then. And that's just on the front side of things. There are folks who are currently licensed for child care that aren't currently providing services, but they don't show up in those numbers because the system doesn't know how to segregate that data. So the need is getting pretty significant. We know of people who are actually paying for childcare right now who don't even actually have kids, but they're planning on starting a family. And so we need to get ahead of this before it turns into a bigger issue.
Absolutely.
But I'm proud to say that we do have 35 folks from the business community. We have some elected officials who are participating in that process, the hospital, Fort Hays State University, Grow Hays. So it's a good effort. We have a lot of child care providers who have been a part of those meetings. So anyone is welcome to be a part of that. We do have a Facebook page. If people want to get more information on that, they can just go to Facebook, and it's Child Care Task Force of Ellis County.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to just say was I was a part of our family's efforts to save a loved one last week, Wednesday, and was very thankful that there was a sheriff from the Ellis County Sheriff's Department at my grandma's farm, making sure that someone was there to help her get out of there safely. So thank you to everybody who was a part of that process who helped save our citizens and our farms. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, the monthly department report. Did you have a chance to review that?
Just today. Looks good. As always, very thorough. I'm always amazed what goes on in the sheriff's department side, all what goes on throughout the county and in a short period of time, but thank you.
Okay, Historical Society update. Brad?
Thank you.
Can't take you anywhere.
She's awful good backup, isn't she?
We won't tell anybody you work for the sheriff's department.
What's that now?
We won't tell anybody you work for the sheriff's department.
Okay, well, if they couldn't tell from my star anyway.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. Brad Rickey, Ellis County Sheriff's Office, as well as
You don't remember my name?
County, what's that?
I said you don't remember my name.
Oh, no, I just hadn't got to that yet. As well as County Liaison to the Ellis County Historical Society. I am here with Amanda Rupp, who is our interim director. And we'd just like to go over some of the awesome things that we've been doing within this last couple months. Our last address to the commission was Monday, October 11th, 2021. And so since that time, we had a really great 50th celebration for our 50th anniversary down at our campus there at 7th and Main. We had a number of speakers, and we also had gunfighters, well, role-playing gunfighters. Yeah, anyway, Jerry Brown was down there speaking about Peter busing, which was awesome. As I'm a woodworker, I never even realized so much about the busing legacy here in Ellis County. It was really interesting. James Drees was there spoke with us about Jim Curry, who is allegedly the wickedest man of Ellis County, or I'm sorry, of the West, or was he not? And he gave kind of conflicting stories as to whether some of the legacy about Jim Curry was actually factual or not. Greg Heller was here from Ellsworth Fort Harker, and he talked about Kansas forts and also Indian conflicts within Kansas. And I'm going to say this wrong. Can you say that for me?
Ian Trevethan.
Yes, was here to talk about Sternberg. We had a presentation on Home on the Range.
Sternberg the man, not the museum.
Not the museum?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was there, yeah. Okay. Eldon Holt gave that Home on the Range presentation, and Guy Winholz with the Bolkovina Society. Guys, we raised a total of $3,297 off of our raffle. Oh, by the way, I apologize. I thought I had the winning ticket. That's next year that I'll probably have the winning ticket. So if you guys hit me up next year on our 51st anniversary, I should be able to get you that winning ticket next time. Which brings me to, I really appreciate all of the board members for your support for the Ellis County Historical Society. That means a lot to us. The winners on that were, let's see, Chief Scheibler won the spa package.
His wife liked that.
And then Chief Howell from Fort Hays State University won the rifle. We had one of the local teachers in Hays win the pistol. Mm-hmm. And then our lifetime membership went to, ironically, our president for some reason. So, yeah, I don't think it was rigged. I looked into it. I did an investigation. I didn't find any foul play. So we'll be showing some pictures of that, actually, as I give you some of the updates on some of the other stuff here. So if you guys want to look up on your screens there, just a few pictures of all the fun we had. So we found out that we have some foundation problems there in the church. Looks like we got quite a few cracks and things are coming in on us. Unfortunately, when we called Thrasher and a couple other foundation companies, we found out it's not a foundation problem, it's a masonry problem. So we called a mason, and he said that it maybe isn't as bad as we thought that it would be, but we're looking at those issues. We thought that we had mold again down in our basement as well, but we end up learning that it was actually like a salt deposit that comes up from the bottom of the ground and crystallizes on the top of the soil there. So wasn't anything to be too concerned with there, but we're still watching it closely. We're in the process of trying to gather enough donations right now to employ a new well, I shouldn't say it's a new software package, but it's a package that we've had before called Past Perfect. And what this software does is it allows us to account for all of our artifacts. And that's one of our goals, is to find out and learn what we have before we move forward of what our future is going to be. So we need to itemize all these artifacts and do it in a way that we can not only do that from our Main Street campus, but also have that ability at Eagle Plaza, where we're stationed right now as well. And the good thing about this program is it used to just sit on our computer. Now, of course, it's got to be out in the cloud because everything's out on the cloud. This allows us to work from anywhere as long as we have Wi-Fi, and then it also backs it up as well. So God forbid if we had something happen there at the 7th Street campus, we wouldn't lose everything that we had put together. So let me see, page 250, just 2 of 2. Our strategic planning committee has met twice now. This is actually led by, is that not Priscilla? Deb Ludwig that is heading that for us. And she's doing a great job. We've been filling out a whole bunch of surveys about the future of Ellis County and what our expectations are and what we'd like to see of the future. And then she puts all that together and she kicks out reports so that we can kind of have a better understanding from what everybody believes of what the future will hold for us. So we're really happy that she's kind of spearheading that, and we continue to have a lot of participation in that committee as well. So we continue to look at space options. We had told you about Victoria the last time I was here. Since then, we've now looked at Keller Furniture, if you remember where the old Keller Furniture Galleries is. What a turnkey that would be. It's already got the showroom. It's got a huge storage warehouse in the back. Just a little out of our price range. But it's neat to see what is out there. But I just don't know if that's what we would be able to afford right now. But we do continue to take those opportunities. So, right now, I'm sorry, not right now, but last night, Saturday night,
Days are off.
all these days are off. It's like there was a huge fire in Ellis County or something. Okay, so on Saturday, we had a quilt display there at the church, at the old church there. We had about 20 to 30 quilts that we showed off, and with as cold as it is right now, it's kind of a novel idea to, have something like quilts on display. We had anything from historic quilts to 4-H quilts that had just been made not too long ago. So if you get a chance, if you missed the one at the Frost Fest Parade, we're planning on having our doors open on some Saturday and Sundays throughout January so that we can show those off, okay? Frost Fest Church. Our board social. We are having a board social somewhere tentatively around January 13th.
Yeah.
We're going to confirm those dates with Hayes Post and on our Facebook page. But this is a great way for the community to meet some of our board members and either decide whether volunteering for the Ellis County Historical Society is for them or not, or maybe even being a trustee. We're looking for 4 great motivated individuals. I would prefer that they could lift very heavy things because it's just Adam and me right now, it seems like, but you don't have to have that. We've just been moving a lot of stuff lately. In fact, we're moving stuff today. But we're looking for 4 individuals to become part of our board so that they can help, like us, guide the future of the Ellis County Historical Society. We're currently fully into the Eagle Plaza.
Almost.
Getting close.
Getting close.
Oh, that's what we're moving today.
Yes.
We've got a bunch of file stuff. And that will bring on doing a lot of our documentation in this new software if we can implement that as well.
Having actual office hours come January 1st of the year, open to the public more, instead of by appointment, hopefully.
So Amanda, what did I forget?
I don't know. There's lots going through my head.
Okay.
Maybe they should have questions if they have any questions. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we'll open it up for questions. So,
Brad, what would that museum software cost?
It's a subscription software, so we already have the software, so we pay the upgrade fee to upgrade it for this next year. I think it was like $12.35 or $12.85, I can't remember the exact number. That's for them to transfer everything that we have on it so far onto the online version, get us started, and then the fee for that year. I think it's about $800 a year
Okay.
for that subscription. And then, of course, we're not, don't want to run that nice new Cadillac software on some rusty T-model.
computer
Yeah,
that we're
So
running
our-
right now.
Right, our computers are, I believe we got them in 2012, 2011.
Yeah.
And so we need to kind of update those
Yeah.
so that we can use it properly.
Ideally, what we would be looking at is laptop computers, I assume, so that way they can be, continue to be mobile, which allows us to fluidly move around our campus on 7th Street, move it over to Eagle Plaza, to be able to do our work everywhere.
Yeah. I just kind of wanted to say that the people that started the Ellis County Historical Society really did a wonderful job in the beginning of organizing the many, many artifacts. And if you were to walk through there, you know, they had it in a very old database or handwritten where things were, where, you know, what we had. It's just time to take that to this century. And so that's
Just
what
because
we're
we're a
gonna do.
historical society doesn't mean we need historical laptops, is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
And eventually, in the future, you know, things that you have donated, you know, we get everything cataloged correctly. It would have a subscription where we could also have a net revenue source for that, and people could view our collection. You donated your grandpa's World War II uniform or your grandmother's quilt, you could view it and see the history on it. So
Okay.
it's all in the future.
Commissioner Dean, any questions?
You know, Brad, I think 4 good volunteers, that would be Brendan, Scott, Darren, and Neil.
Okay, we will put them down, and if they could just show up, we will put them to work right away. Any other questions,
just
guys?
throw
You look
that out there.
strong, Dean.
Yeah.
You look like you could lift a lot.
There.
Well,
Wow,
I kind of got a partial tear in my rotator cuff, so I'm good right-handed, left-handed, I'm not so good.
Commissioner Neal?
Any estimates on the repair of with the mason?
We haven't, everything that we do through the board has to have, of course, 3 estimates, but we have a company that has been doing the restoration, I believe, on the Mid-Continent Restoration, that does the one at
Churches and everything.
St. Joe's and a lot on campus. That's the only company that we've talked to right now that will touch the stonework. I haven't been able to reach out to the other ones.
They do good work.
Yeah.
Worked with them before, they do really good work.
So,
And when you first approached us earlier in the year, you were going to get us some kind of display out. Are you still working on that?
oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, everything takes a little bit of time, just especially still, we still are, you know, part-time. The employees that we have to save money are still part-time, and so.
Very good. Thank you.
First things first, we're gonna
Still-
get a budget together, we're gonna get our software together, but we can work on that in the background. So,
Thanks. You guys are
Okay.
going right ahead.
Thanks, guys, good
Okay.
stuff.
Yep.
Keep up the good
Thank
work.
you. We'll see you in another couple months. And just as a citizen of Ellis County, I'd like to thank Darren and Lyle for all their work that they did this last week. It was being out there. I haven't seen that in my 26 years of law enforcement. That was insane. But I'm glad we got great people like him in the rural fire department to do what they did. So thank you. Thanks, Commissioners.
Okay, our next item is Bodycon camera contract. Scott?
Good evening, Commissioners. Scott Brown, Ellis County Sheriff. So I'll try to make this short. I don't think you need me to get into the weeds on this too much. So short and long of it is our camera system that we currently have, we've got a couple of them that have gone down. We want to replace those. We've got 2 of them. We'll start with the first one would have been purchase order 7616. So we're going to replace the system within that car and then get some the body cams also. It's all inclusive, the whole system is. It also includes a software program. It will allow us to move what we're currently storing on a local to the cloud system. We're having some issues with our drive, and rather than put some money into that, that's where we're going to go. It also offers us some other options when we do that. It'll allow our guys to download immediately from their cars to the cloud system. So it's a good thing. We're not losing anything. The other benefit of going with this 5-year lease program, lease to own, is the fact that year 3 we get brand new body cams again. So that's part of the lease, so we can replace them. We've been having some problems with some of our body cams going down, so I kind of like that. They wear them all the time, so that's a benefit for us too. So obviously you've read it, so our installment would be $6,393 this year out of the general, and then 4 remaining payments of $6,213 for a total of $31,245 for that. The remaining of that will be coming out of our capital budget for that after this year. So this year would be the general and then the capital. Much the same with the 761 purchase order. We're just purchasing the 16 cameras. With that comes also the Surface package, and those are the Wi-Fi docking systems. And that's our cameras are old, some of them, and it doesn't have the capability of doing what we need, so we're looking to replace those also. Unfortunately, we're in a time when if it didn't happen on the camera, it didn't happen if it's not recorded on there, and they're a great tool. They also have decreased the number of complaints that we have on our officers. People tend not to come in when we say, hey, come in and look at the video. When they tell me something, they may or may not show up. They typically don't because I view it before, but they're welcome to. Typically, some of them are trying to get out of trouble, so to speak. So that second purchase order would be $14,163, the installment. The remaining 4 payments after that would be $12,703.20. I'm not sure why they couldn't round that off, but they didn't. And then for a total for that time is $64,976. Questions?
So all of our officers have body cams in, correct?
Yes,
All of them?
every one of them.
Good.
Have they run into situations where the body cam and the video and everything played an issue?
No, it's only helped us always. So yeah, it's definitely helped us, absolutely.
Okay, great.
So I like it. The guys like it. When we first got them, there was some guys of, man, I don't want to wear that. And now they're one of them that happens to be a long-term employee for me. When we took his, because he moved up in position, said, can I get one of those body cams? So doesn't have the rest in his car, but he had the body cam. Feels pretty strongly about it. So they have their place, absolutely.
Okay, and you do have finances in your budget for that?
I do.
Yeah. And Commissioner Neal, any questions?
Looks like a good thing to me. They don't lie. When it's taken, it's there. I mean, it's...
It's also a good deterrent for the other party when they know they're being recorded too. They may not act up as much. So it's a win-win both ways.
Okay. Well, I guess, anyone care to make a motion on these issues?
Approval of a 5-year lease to own WatchGuard in-car recording system and software. Initial installment $6,393. Four remaining payments over 4 years of $6,213 per year, totaling $31,245.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. On the, let's get down here to the second one. Okay, on the second one, is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion for the approval of a 5-year lease to own 16 body cams and accessories and software. Initial installment $14,163.20 with 4 remaining payments over 4 years, $12,703.20 per year, totaling $64,976.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
All right, Butch, I will have a contract that you need to sign that was reviewed by Mr. Jeter.
Okay.
I'll leave it with Bobby with the purchase order. Does that work for you?
Sure, that works for me.
Okay. I'll just leave it the whole pack. Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, the next agenda item is the environmental job description update. Did you want to do that, Darren?
Yes, sir. Darren Myers, the Ellis County Administrator. Mason Reuter had to leave town yesterday for family emergency, so he'd asked me to fill in for him tonight. And he is here, or not here, to ask about changing two of the job descriptions in the office. As you know, we had one employee recently retire. And with that became the availability to combine more job duties, as well as over the last couple of months, they've been able to look at the operations between the solid waste, landfill, and environmental to be able to cross-train and be able to assign more duties to more individuals. So that way, if somebody in the environmental office needs to go out to the dozer, I guess, or up on the loader to be able to push equipment, as well as this position to be able to look at the tickets from the landfill, pay the accounts receivable and such, that this new position as the operations manager will be able to do that. He has a statement here that I can read if you like. He just sent it this afternoon as I was kept in meeting after meeting and wasn't able to call him back. So he had sent me that after the creation of the new department, it became clear to his staff to further develop the environmental technician and environmental associate positions by clarifying the duties and opening up the positions for cross-training opportunities within the two divisions, with the creation of the environmental services technician and the environmental services operations manager. The two new descriptions will help the continuity of operations and expand opportunities within the department and focus efforts to individual positions for increased accuracy and efficiencies by giving training and focus necessary to keep the department running effectively now, and if the need arises, coverage within the two different divisions. As you can tell on the agenda item, there's no financial impact. We're not changing any job classifications, the rate of pays. When the environmental technician would move up to the operations manager, if we do so promote within, the pay ranges stay the same, so it would just essentially still be a promotion, and they would just be different job duties to help, like you said, create efficiencies within the two divisions of environmental services. That's about the best I can explain it to you if you have any questions.
Okay, well, I think if Mason believes it'll just make the area out there run more efficient with updated job descriptions, I'm not opposed to this at all. Commissioners, do you have any thoughts or questions for Darren?
I'm also in favor of it. It happened right in front of our eyes here. He had to leave. Somebody stepped right in there. That cross-training is way to go. I'm definitely for that.
300%. It's a good deal.
Okay. Commissioners, I move the commission approve the updated job descriptions within environmental services of the environmental services operations manager and environmental services technician. Is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Okay. We got to go up here to... Okay, the opioid settlement. Darren?
As the commission is aware, back at the commission meeting on November 1st of 2021, the commission gave, out of the recommendation of Mr. Jeter, that the county opt in to the national opioid settlement. What that did was you allowed me to log on, create an account, and register the county. And since then, I think through the Kansas Counselors Association, they would shared off some more information, as well as what the Kansas Association of Counties and the Kansas League of Municipalities are joining as part of the effort to be a part of that settlement. And they've created an MOU within a standard MOU and a standard resolution, which was attached as the part of the agenda as kind of the next step. If the commission would so approve to continue with the opioid settlement, the MOU would need to be signed, the resolution would need to be passed, and then we would forward it on to Jay Hall at the Kansas Association of Counties, as well as the Kansas Attorney General's office, to continue our progress within the settlement. I don't know if Mr. Jeter wanted to add anything more to it.
I don't have anything else. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
I would, let me retract that. We don't know how much money, we don't know when money would be coming. We don't know for sure the stipulations on how we can spend that money, so.
But if we were to ever get anything, we
But if
have
we're
to
gonna
get
get
into this.
anything, we have to go through all these steps, and it needs to be done before January,
Okay.
so.
Well, I'm in favor of doing it. Commissioners?
I am
Very
too.
much so.
Yeah.
Okay, Darren, proceed.
I'm not sure why I didn't add it to the agenda, but we will need a motion to approve Resolution 21-25 for the opioid settlement, so I apologize on that. Last week was a little quick on getting the agenda together for tonight.
Okay, so we need a motion. I'll make a motion, Commissioners, that we approve Resolution 21-25 to enter into the Kansas Opioid Memorandum of Understanding.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Okay, 61. We scroll down here a bit. Okay, we have the court's budget for attorney payments. Darren?
As the commission is aware, that some staff has changed. Staff has changed a little bit in the court's office, and some new staff has been appointed to the different positions on an interim basis, and they've looked at a couple different bills and their budgets just to learn where they're at and what they spent items on. And it was noticed that over the last 5 years, dating back to 2017, several of the contract attorneys for the 23rd Judicial Court System had not, or several payments had been missed to 5 different attorneys. Those totaled up over those 5 years to $27,665 collectively over those 5 years. We're here tonight to ask the commission, as we do owe the money to those different attorneys, the authority to go ahead and pay that bill to those attorneys. It will have an impact on their budget. Their budget will go over. We're still obviously have year-end bills, and we're just doing a voucher run. I believe this week the checks are going out. So, but they are estimated to only go over maybe about $10,000 to $15,000 in the grand scheme of things in the entire county budget. We'll be able to cover that amount. So we just wanted to pay for it out of that court's budget for 2021 instead of waiting for 2022, because it would just create the problem then as well. So we know we have the room this year. We just asked to make the payment, equal everything out, and start 2022 off fresh.
Well, I think since they found this, we owe the money, so we should pay it. And I think as soon as we pay it, sooner the better. So that's what I'm in favor of. Commissioners, comments?
Yes, sir.
I am,
Be
same
done.
way. Get it done.
Okay, proceed, Darren.
We'll let the courts know, and they'll pay it on the next voucher run, which will be in 2022, but we'll still charge that back to 2021.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The next agenda item is the Covitt Policy. Darren?
As the commission is aware, back in 2020, I believe it was in April, the president signed a new law into place, which was the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act, or FFCRA. And what that did is that extended some leave benefits to employees on how they were impacted by COVID, whether they were quarantined, whether they have had COVID themselves, had to care for a family member, or if their kids couldn't go to school and such. Since then, as the commission is aware, that policy has gone away, the federal guidance has gone away towards the beginning of this year, and we're no longer receiving any benefits back, compensation reimbursements for that. However, at the beginning of the year, the commission was concerned about the welfare of the employees, and decided that we would extend that policy on through 2021 here. At that time, we still had high cases in Ellis County, and the vaccinations weren't out yet. At this point, we're kind of on the, hopefully, cross my fingers, on the back end of the COVID pandemic. We've had 2 variants, but also we've had all 3 booster or times for the original vaccinations as well as boosters, and the availability for everybody in the county to get it moving into 2022 with the direction from the commission earlier in the year that we wanted to revisit this come December. And with that, I'd ask if the commission is wanting to consider to keep the policy in place, provide the extra benefits for the employees, or stop it at the end of the year here and revert back to the personnel policy.
Commissioners, as I went through and looked at this, I think at some point, we just have to realize that this virus, it's an endemic virus. It's around us, and we're going to have to live with it. And from when this policy was implemented and the state came out with their executive order, so much has changed with this virus, in that we have several vaccinations one could get, several different medications one can take. It's kind of a different picture. You could keep a policy in place like this forever, but again, I think when we consider our county employees, they get a very generous PTO policy, and I would just like to see this where the employees have to take care of their own issues at this point in time. It could change if the governor come out with some different executive orders or something like that, but I feel like it's time to rescind this policy. Thoughts? Comments?
I agree with you too, Butch. I mean, if it does, break out like it did last year, I mean, our health director definitely will inform us, and Darren on staff also. I mean, we'll know if it goes from bad to worse. I mean, we're going to know that as commissioners also, and we can always put it back in place, so.
Sure.
I agree.
Commissioner Neal?
Other employers are doing it, doing away with this too. So, I mean, it's not like playing follow a leader, but I feel like you do. We give them PTO. Use it, but don't abuse it, I guess I should say.
Sure.
And
Okay, is there a motion for this?
I move to rescind the COVID-19 policy in Ellis County.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Okay, County Administrator report.
I feel like I'm talking quite a bit tonight. I have two quick items. Well, one quick item. The other one's a little bit lengthy. The EMS director, our interim EMS director, is here tonight. Well, she was.
She left.
Must have been talking too much, or Scott scared her away.
Scott.
But with the transition from Jason Kinney's being the EMS director to Danita being the interim director, the Kansas Board of EMS is needing a letter signed by the county commission stating that the transition and who the new director is part of their licensure for the Kansas Board of EMS. And we looked last time when Carrie McHugh retired and moved it over to Jason Kennedy. Now it's the same, basically the same document. We dated it back it's dated for today, but it's dated back saying effective December 10th, which was when Jason's last day with the county was as the full-time employee, and moved over with Danita. So with that, I would just ask that the commission would be able to sign that, and then I can get it back to Danita tomorrow to send up to the board. And we're trying to find clarification that if Danita is in the future appointed as the full-time director, if we need to do it again or not. But if that's the case, I'll let you know. But it's a simple item. I just wanted to ask the approval from the commission, the chair, to sign it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Yes.
The second item is just, I just want to spend a little bit of time in regards to what all happened last week. I know the commission is very aware of all the events, and I should have spoke a little bit more maybe when Deb Tucker was here. They're an amazing organization. Unfortunately, we can't always assist them as much as they can always assist us because we have, we're in Western Kansas, and we don't have the staff like they do out on the east part. But they were within the first. I know we reached out for them to be able to provide food for us out there, and it was amazing what they actually did. They don't know who they contacted or how, but as the commission is aware, the city of Hazel was without power, but somehow they still contacted somebody within Dillon's, and when the streets were still completely black, or dark, they let us in and got food, and it was literally filled up the back of a pickup, and we had to go back. Another volunteer from Russell County actually loaded up a half a pallet of water and brought it out. So Red Cross is always there to help us. And speaking of, they just got paged back out there again to a fire.
Read that real quick on my phone. You got fire coming out of the ground.
Oil, battery. Okay. I was just getting ready to say they got paged back out to that location, so.
Is that what that is?
Codell and Homestead,
Yep.
that's what my phone says.
Okay. The landowner was up there. He just sent me that.
So it's never ending. They were out there last night as well for about 4 hours. And we spent 8 hours each day, Saturday and Sunday. So we're almost a week past this and we're still dealing with it. But the Red Cross, amazing. But I think what I wanted to do mainly was recognize a lot of people that helped. We're still trying to collect information, people that had helped, but the Auto World brought out Jimmy John's, dozens of sandwiches. Not too long after that, I called in and ordered Jimmy John's to be able to take a whole bunch of sandwiches out. They're very easy because they're individually wrapped, and we can hand them out, and they can either throw them in the truck and eat them as needed. But I got to Jimmy John's to pick him up. It was after our strategic planning session. I took him out there, and they donated several $100s worth of food. The Red Cross came out there. McDonald's on another night gave us a couple hundred sandwiches to share out. I don't even know half the amount of people that showed up on scene driving down the road. Somebody just stop you and give you a bottle of water. One lady actually dropped off a plate almost similar to this, wrapped in Christmas, had all the banana nut bread, and it's something different. It tasted good, but it was great. The employers of all the firefighters let them leave. It was amazing. Day and night, we were out there for 53 hours straight. I know Brendan had his guys out there helping. They let them stay. It's just amazing how they can all come together. Midland Marketing, Midwest Energy. Midland Marketing loads and loads of water. Thousands of gallons of water they'd bring out there. Midwest Energy was out there. We had over 37 calls within a couple hours. Hundreds, I think Neil said over 500 power poles is where the estimate is at now, but dispatch center was getting multiple calls on all the power poles. Western Cooperative is out there. C&G Oil was hauling us water. We had phone calls from Heartland Tank Service was bringing us, be able to bring us water out there. But some of the other places that helped us, and farmers, as Dean knows, out in those areas, they'll show up with graders, tractors, plows with discs, or tractors with discs and plows, and they don't stop. They'll tear up anything in the way to stop that fire, and it's amazing how much they help. KHP, they've flown the sheriff around to look and give us aerial photos. They show us where the hot spots are at. Which is, you wouldn't think having eyes up in the sky is that big of a deal, but it actually is. They have FLIR cameras in there, which is a forward-looking infrared camera that can show you where the hot spots are at. And they did a lot of focusing over there in the Paradise and Fairport areas because that's where the population in that area is. The Public Works, like I say, Brendan was out there each night with us. Some nights we didn't leave till 4 or 5 in the morning, but his crews were out there. 4 water trucks and the tanker with the semi. The fuel truck was out there. I don't know how many, probably thousands of gallons of fuel. We filled trucks up, and that was huge. You may not think of fighting a fire, but when you're out there for that many hours, driving hundreds of miles a day, and then plus that night, all the power was off in Hayes. So even if we did have didn't have Brennan out there, there was no way for us to get fuel that night, not having any power at the pumps. The dispatchers down in the dispatch center did an amazing job. Getting reports, I couldn't imagine living in that environment when they're getting reports that the city of Ellis is going to burn down and we're having to evacuate the city of Ellis. I still think it was the grace of God that somehow the wind shifted within a few minutes. Sheriff Brown and I were driving over there. His car goes faster than my truck, but he beat me there. But we got over there and it was no visibility. I had no idea where the fire was, how close it was going, and then in an instant of snapping your fingers, it cleared up and you could see 15, 20 miles of visibility, and we could see that the city of Ellis was not going to be impacted. And how that didn't progress into there, I have no explanation of that. But what the dispatchers have to go through in the hundreds and the calls that they had to go through, people's house burning down. We had sheriff's deputies out there helping us drive people out. We had people stranded in their vehicles. They were helping pull people out of their houses. Our firefighters were pulling people out of their houses. It's amazing what everybody does. Kansas Forest Service was out. They were helping run all the on-scene aerial operations. We had several planes out there for multiple days dropping 800 gallons a pop of water. That was a big help. And then multiple county fire departments throughout the duration were there to help. Russell County, Rooks County, Ness, Phillips, and Osborne all sent trucks at different times. Obviously, they all had their issues going on with the fires, but they all combined in to help. And then Sunflower Bank and Victoria, Gary Hurt, Victoria High School students were making sack lunches. Forked that bakery, made up a whole bunch of sandwiches and cookies and food and brought them out. Peggy Water made up sandwiches. Jason Kippis brought out I don't know how many cases of water. Corey Brown was organizing food and getting it out there to us. We've had Carrie Brown's also been in contact with somebody down in Oklahoma is trying to get toys up here so that way we can get it to some of the kids that may have lost everything. Total over there in Victoria, water and ice and Gatorade. The library, free food and drinks for the firefighters afterwards. So I don't know how much they partaked. I know they were joking around about it, but I don't think they were so exhausted by the point that came about that I don't think they ever made it there. I know I'm missing some, but it was a lot. I know there's some things out there on social media, but like I say, overall, the perspective of what it ended up to, Deb Tucker was kind of alluding to what we ended up dealing with. But over those couple hours that night with that windstorm, we had over 37 calls, ranging from injury, accidents, rollovers, house fires, grass fires, power lines. To put that in perspective, that's in 6 hours, that's 10% of the calls that we do in an entire year, down into 6 hours. So, and that's just what we had. I think EMS had 20. Hayes Fire, which is separate from us, they had 31. So it was a very busy night. We did the preliminary, we got on Google Maps and did the best we could for the acreage, the size. Just in Ellis County is 55,424 acres, which is very significant. We unfortunately, 10 homes were lost, 21 different structures. Those are ranging from barns, garages, sheds, outbuildings. One business had some structural loss out there, and we did have one fatality. Unfortunately, that was somebody driving a vehicle that got caught up in the flames and the smoke. And we did visit with Commissioner Schleier the Wednesday night of the event, and we did declare the disaster for Ellis County. So that has kind of been a recap of everything that went on out there. And I know I asked Mr. Jeter what he thought, but I didn't want to feel like this came out as a knee-jerk reaction to be able to spend money or take a window of opportunity to provide some funds for the fire department. But a continual need that we always have, that we're always limited to do, is the amount of radios that we have on the fire department. I know Dean knows, you go over into Ellis County, some of those districts over there, they're not even on the state radio system, nor would they even have the funding probably to be able to buy them. Phillips County came down, they can't communicate. Ness County couldn't communicate with us. When the Forestry Service came to start doing air, they have to coordinate with the fire trucks that are on scene to say, they're coming in. You need to get off the fire line so they can drop water. But it's not just a one-time event that this is an issue. This is an issue on every house fire that we have. This is an issue on every, the last several big grass fires we had up on Wiles Road many years ago, 2018, the Homestead fire that we had in 2017, but 20 to 30 times a year that we have structural fires. That we have companies out there that the trucks, they don't have a portable radio at all. And that is it's a huge liability, but it's just a funding issue that we have to be able to buy them. Unfortunately, they're expensive. They're about $4,900 a piece, so they're not cheap. So I thought I would at least take the opportunity to see if the commission would be interested in allowing some contingency funding that's remaining in the general fund to purchase some radios. I got estimates. They're all on state contract, and I know what the request was, because we talked about a kind of an after-action review before we sent everybody home. It was about the communications is the number one thing that always fails in a disaster and emergency. The request is for 10 radios. I guess I'm only really asking for 8. The 10 radios would put 2 radios that would actually sit there for the firefighters in Victoria and Ellis. But if we just did 8, that would just put one radio at the station, so that way at least there is additional communication. But like I say, if we did 10 radios, that's $48,000. So I don't know if the commission would be open to that or not. It's a large chunk of money, and open for discussions or actually questions to go back on the entire incident if you've heard anything as well.
Well, I know Darren spoke to me earlier about this issue, Commissioners, and I did tell Darren sometimes you need an event maybe not as impactful as this one, but you need something to push your resources to really find out where you're short. And Darren has noted this in the past several times. We just need more radios, especially for those who respond that aren't Ellis County. And being that it is the end of the year and we do have contingency funds available, and it is a really public safety issue, I'd be in favor of Darren purchasing 10 more radios. Your thoughts, Commissioners?
Just like what we're doing right now, we're communicating with each other.
Mhm.
If you can't communicate, that small price
I mean,
for radios and communications,
and
you can
Darren's
get
right
to
on
a
that.
house quicker. That is a small price, and somebody's life, if that would have happened at night, they'd have been in their basement or something. Yeah, I'm totally for that.
I just feel like we're taking advantage of a situation here, but it's just really got brought up to light, and it was one of the hardest things. We're out there on scene, and we're literally giving our radios up, so we're giving them to the Forestry Service, or we're giving them to some of the other county fire departments, so that way they can still group together but still visit with us, or not visit, but communicate with us. And we're already strapped as tight as we are, and if we give them out, that just makes it worse for us.
Planning for the future. It could happen again. I hope not, but let's plan for it.
Mhm.
That's what I feel, Commissioners.
Dean?
Need a motion, Mr. Jeter, for that, or not?
Probably do with the amount that's being spent.
I'll make a motion for the approval of 10 radios to Ellis County Fire Department for, was it 64,000?
Be $48,229.60.
That's what Darren said, Butch.
$48,229.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
I would like to add to the vendors that came out and gave stuff. I know a lot of them volunteer fire people. Most all of them said when they either bit into a hamburger or a sandwich, they said it tasted like prime rib because just for that, initial more energy. I mean, they were run down. So, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there that.
It actually, one of our firefighters actually lost everything he had. He got home on Wednesday night and found out it was gone. That was kind of what my afternoon dealt with, but they'll appreciate this, and I appreciate the commissioner's support on it as well. And my goal is, as soon as some things calm down, is get a list together of all of these individuals and get it out to Hays Post, so that way there's a little bit more acknowledgement that can be out there for people acting simple kindness of their heart, doing things like that.
Could we ask Brandon to come up and kind of give us a little bit of update, like on the road, bridges, that kind of stuff, so the public knows?
Come on up, Brendan.
I got your list here if you want to refer to it. I'm sure there's a lot more since then.
So like Darren said, myself and my crew, we were out with them providing water, fuel, and the first night I had 3 crews out trying to set cones because there was no way we were going to set a barricade in that type of wind. It had just been more of a hazard for everyone. So we were checking power lines that were down just because the fire department and everyone was so taxed. I had guys with cones in their trucks trying to blockade roads. So we had 3 structures that collapsed during the event. Wooden boxes. They look like a bridge, but they're smaller. They're not less than 20 feet. The one is on 260th Avenue, just south of Homestead. That one is about a 10-foot wide, 7-foot tall one. We also have one on Wiles Road and Homestead Road, both east of 370th Avenue, between there and the county line. So we've already applied with DWR, and we're waiting for answer from the Corps for temporary emergency repairs, which will allow us to place a tube in there, cover it up. It's not going to last for a flood, but it's so people can still get access through those areas. So we're waiting got clarification from DWR, just waiting for clarification from the Corps in case this does become a FEMA incident based on the size of the fire and number of public structures damaged. I've got this sheet here that we made up that I gave to Darren Friday. There's a few curve signs down northbound Toulon Avenue in the 1600 block, westbound Catherine Road 2000 block, westbound Severn Road 2600 block, northbound 360th Avenue 2800 block, southbound ×2 Vincent Avenue 2800. I've got 8 pages of this in my office of signs down, guard posts down, or guardrails burned up. Haven't had a good chance yet to look underneath all the concrete structures to see if the fire got truly to them. We had one fail here in the last fire a few years ago, according to workers there, or staff there at the shop. So we're busy putting up signs, taking away barricades. We've already had someone go through the ditch around one of our barricades and into the hole where one of those boxes burned up at. Thankfully, it looks like they stopped to where they didn't impact the other side, but there's skid marks, I guess, 30, 40 foot long all the way over the edge. So just for the public, if you see a barricade, it's not there because we don't like you. It's there for your safety, so please don't go around them. We had the same issue on 450. We placed dirt piles on the roadway, and Scott can attest to, there was someone that made it across the bridge and was stuck. They went through the middle of the dirt piles and got stuck trying to get around the dirt pile on the far side. And we've had to place more dirt piles because there's traffic going through the center of it over a bridge that's unsafe to travel. So if you see a barricade, please don't go through it. It's for your own safety. It's not that we don't like you and don't make you want to go a different way. It's for everyone's safety that you don't go through there. If you'd like, I can go through all these, but there's a lot of damage. We've got, like I said, 6 or 7 pages like this of signs that are burnt down, blown over, bent, missing. And I don't even think, I'm confident that's not all the signs that are gone. Because there's some where, luckily we have a list of where signs are at and what signs goes where. But this was just drive-through analysis, not actually going through the booklet to see, well, there actually is supposed to be a sign here. Post is gone, sign's gone, everything's gone. So there's going to be more. So Larry's got his work cut out for him. We'll make staff available.
Would that be like that sign that says a 3-ton weight limit, and then you see a semi driving across it?
Some of those have gone.
No, not that that would happen in our
It
county.
would never happen anywhere, except there's never a tank battery on the other side of those, and there's always dual tracks going across there. Oh, that's a light truck that goes across, but yes, you're right. There are some of those signs down as well. The guardrails caught fire on a lot of our structures, so the guardrails are not up to standard currently. Those will have to be replaced. We've got some left over from state grants in the past. We will most likely have to order some in the future. Price is about 270% it was the last time we purchased it. So just a little fair warning to the three of you. I hope we have enough. If we have to purchase some, it's like those culverts we purchased here a few weeks back. It's costly at this point in time, but we need it.
I know when I've been driving in the rural, our sanded roads are like blacktop because
It's
we're
gone.
gonna have to go to Russell or
Gone.
wherever and get all our sand back.
Yeah.
But we're gonna spend a lot of,
Even on the rock roads.
Yep.
It's gone. The top layer's gone. In the areas that were a lot of heat, it cooked it off. That rock will get like a blister. That wind and that heat blew it off. We've got the topsoil from the fields where the wind whipped and burned across the roadways, blocking ditches. What caused 450 to collapse, in the engineer's opinion, is stuff hitting the structure from down below in the stream. I feel we may have some of that again in the future because with this fire, there's a lot that burned. There's going to be a lot of that debris that's left behind that could potentially come in one of these channels when we get a flooding event, if we get rain. I hope we do. Hope it doesn't come all at once like it did this spring, but we might have more damage to come as a result of this, from the trees that burned, fell over, didn't finish burning fully up, that can make their way down our streams. And in better news, we cut up Old 40 today. We plan on pouring it tomorrow.
Seen that, I was driving by when you guys were sawing it, or you just finished. Actually, I was talking to Darren on the phone, and
We had to buy a new blade. Those are about $700 right now. The one we had borrowed was warped, so we purchased a new blade for them. And so that way we could finish our project.
thanks Brennan, thanks
Thank
for
you.
helping.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks.
Any more report, Darren?
No, thanks for letting me share all that. I know some got a little tough, but just our community is amazing. I love it.
Absolutely.
And when times like this, they all come together every single time. I just pray for all those that lost everything, and I hope anybody that can do anything to help them out. We had people bringing sacks of clothes into the office today, dropping off water and more Gatorade still. We had a load. I got contacted by a guy out in Abilene, brought a load of hay bales out on Saturday, and another one today. Dropped them off up at the Plainville stockyards, as well as more clothes and more monies to help continue those that for the storing their cattle up there. So, like I say, I keep remembering stuff and keep writing them down. But I love how our community comes together. So thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you.
When are you gonna do the debriefing? Are you going to?
I didn't have time today to set it up. I'm hoping to maybe next week, Monday or Tuesday. I don't know if I don't think I've mentioned this to anybody else yet, but when we had the Homestead and the Wilds Road fire back in 2017, 2018, we had a community meeting. And we invited residents, homeowners, business owners, anybody that was impacted or interested. They came into a meeting and we just educated the public how we operate, why we operate, and why we do what we do, the equipment that we have, and just work through ideas or suggestions or concerns, complaints, and so we're going to try to do that next week, Monday or Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening. I just hadn't got that visit with the state fire marshal's office today, and then we had that lunch this afternoon. It just kind of got busy, so I'll let the three commissioners know once we have a date set up.
I guess keep us informed in that, and can all three commissioners go to that, Mr. Jeter? If we have a debriefing?
You'd have to schedule, you'd have to treat that like a meeting.
Okay.
You could,
I can
they'll be discussing county business.
Right.
I can let you know when it is, and then I can contact each of you and see if the three of you will make it or can make it. And then if that's the case, I'll get with the clerk's office to get
Let me
it
ask
published.
this, you won't be so much as participating as just listening.
Just listening.
It just,
You're okay. As long as you don't have a discussion discussing county business.
Okay,
As opposed to the three of you just sitting apart from each other and listening, then you're okay.
okay,
Yeah. Can you
okay.
do that?
I don't care.
That's what I thought.
Sorry, Mr. Jeter.
Okay, county commission reports. Commissioner Hazelhorst.
First, I want to thank Darren. The landowner just said the fire trucks have arrived. Thank you for all you do. So, Thursday, I got Wednesday night and Thursday and all day Friday, I also helped out with all that north of Victoria. Just amazing, all the volunteers and fire trucks and people that showed up. I mean, I helped one farmer up there move his cattle out he lost 150 head and saved 60 and lost his house and vehicles. And we just got a great county and great community. I got to work with Russell County quite a bit on, I think that was Thursday night, or was that Friday? I don't know, one of them nights. I think it was Thursday night. And just amazing over there too, all the different people that showed up, Russell, Grant, and Gorham, and Dorrance, and there was a truck there from Ford County and Sedgwick County. I don't know, guess they just showed up. But going back to communication, that was a little bit of a problem. I mean, because guys would show up with tractor and disc. Well, they didn't know where to go, so they'd be calling somebody else, and they'd, tell them, well, man, I think you need to go over here, and they really needed to go somewhere else. And guys would show up with water trucks, and communication is a big thing. And, it was very well organized for as many trucks that were out. I seen something Friday night I've never seen in my life. This fire was about a half a mile away. It was burning pretty fast. Well, as everybody knows, the wind, that was Thursday night. Yeah, the wind was blowing pretty hard, and it come down through that valley, and there was like 12 fire trucks on the other side to greet it when it come up out of that valley. And I told Darren there was a wall of fire probably 30, 40 feet tall. And we're all out in that field together, and I couldn't believe them 12 trucks knocked that thing down in just a matter of probably 10 minutes. It was out. And it was amazing just to see all the people people drive up, water in the back of their truck, handing out water. People I've never seen before, and I've been around that area forever. And same when we was hauling that guy's cattle going through Paradise. People are standing on the corner handing out food and drink, and, just because, and guys that lost everything are there helping out too. And it was pretty emotional up there, it really was.
Thank you, Dean.
That's all I got.
Commissioner Neal?
yeah, Tuesday, I went and met with Kim Reel and Darren. Got a good head on her shoulders, just like the rest of the county employees. Then I also met with Darren Wednesday with the strategic planning, and what a good staff there was there also, a lot of ideas. And then Tuesday also I went to Image of Ellis County with Doug Williams and Sarah, and like the rest of us on Friday, met up with Jerry Moran and visited with him, and I guess today had a little luncheon with Vicki Schmidt, the insurance, Kansas Insurance Commission. Dean was there, Darren. I think she'll really go to bat for us. And I did go to Creta Liker's retirement this afternoon. Told her our appreciation, and I catch a lot of slack from some of the people out in the community that I always thank all the county employees. And now it did set in. Look what we've done. I'm going to continue to thank them. We got a good staff, a lot of expertise there. I guess last but least, wish everybody a Merry Christmas and be safe. And probably see everybody next year.
Yep, no, we do have just to echo Neil's comments, we got great county
Yes.
employees, staff, volunteer fire department. I mean, people have to remember,
Very-
they're volunteers. I mean, you know, a lot of these places were complaining they don't have enough, you know, they're short on volunteers. Darren's blessed. And it goes back, you know, your business is only as good as your leader. And it goes to show we got a hell of a leader.
Yes, we do.
That's why we have more volunteers than we've probably ever had, from what I remember. And I mean, I think our sheds are full. And that just compliments Darren and Lyle both. And getting to work with some of the guys on Wednesday and Thursday, especially Thursday, I mean, yeah, they put their life on the line every time they jump in that fire truck.
That's right.
I mean, seeing it firsthand and being there on one of the trucks, I mean, they put their life on the line.
That's right. And you,
Thank God for the volunteers across the state of Kansas. And there was one guy up from Cimarron, Kansas. He was in that part of that Anderson fire, right? That's where that was down there. Yeah, Anderson fire, and he come up to help one of my friends north of up there by Fairport, and same deal. I mean, people showing up with hay. I mean, the next day, and just amazing to see how the farmers all come together, how our volunteers come together. I mean, they're out there helping each other. And we're blessed where we live.
yes, we are.
Saying goes, we're west of Wanamaker. We got a visit with Vicki Schmidt today. And, you know, west of Wanamaker, unfortunately, in the eyes of the capital, in the eyes of the eastern part of the world, we don't exist. Well, you know what? They don't have a frickin' clue what we have out here. We got the best. They can have their world east of Wanamaker. Well, I'll take our world west of Wanamaker any day. So God bless everybody that's out here, and Merry Christmas.
Okay, I don't know what I can say that hasn't already been said, but I'll just give a heartfelt thanks to all of those who responded to the situation we had last week, and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And I think we have an executive session.
I move the Board of County Commissioners recess to executive session for 10 minutes with the possibility of land acquisition. Those to attend, Mr. Bill Jeter, Mr. Brendan McKay, Darren Myers, Butch Schleier, and myself.
I'll second that motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
only three missing, Bill. Take a deep breath. Bobby, Lori, and, I guess Bobby had two, Lori had one, and I had none.
Okay, there's no action, and with no additional business, the meeting will adjourn at 6:33.